Hi, this is Charles Hoskinson broadcasting live from warm, sunny Colorado. It's a beautiful day outside. We're truly enjoying it. Let's just make sure my microphone is looking good. Okay, just go ahead and get all that settings set up. Just a moment. And okay, testing. Good. All right, so if everybody can hear me, loud and clear. All right, it's good to be here. Back in Colorado, I was just in Los Angeles, and we had a great time launching a new product, the Kagi Leonard shoe for New Balance. I think it's the first athletic shoe that New Balance has done in conjunction with an NBA player. Could be wrong on that, but it might not be. Anyway, we built an authentication product for them, and we were having a heck of a lot of fun designing that. It took about 8 months to negotiate the deal. It's live on the Cardano network. So if you download the New Balance app, if you go to newbalance.io, hk.io, you can actually see the application. You can also find it in the iOS App Store and the Google Store. And basically how it works is that there's a pool of color data, and these represent shoes. And you get, when you buy your special shoe, you get the card with the shoe, the real chain card. It's a registered card, so it actually has this colored ADA on it. And then when you get your shoe, you can register it and connect the card to the shoe. So it's a great application. It's kind of a little hacky for the first generation. It's an MVP. And it's a wonderful conversation about how are we in the long term going to handle authentication of luxury goods. And to me, it's very exciting because this is a $1 trillion market. And there's a lot of counterfeiting going on, a lot of authentication problems. There's a lot of issues with how secondary markets should work with luxury goods. And New Balance has just been an exceptional partner. We've loved working with them. We've loved designing an app with them. It was so fun to go to Los Angeles to their store and actually watch real-time people registering their card and doing something live on the Cardano network. So that's pretty cool. And it's a great example of blockchain in action, where you just basically start from an idea to a finished product in less than a year, and you're able to make a dent and do something to an industry that's historically been very tough. These companies confiscate tens of millions of counterfeit shoes every year, and that's probably only a small part of the marketplace. And shoes are not even the most counterfeited of luxury goods. There are many, many things that are for hire. For example, Rolexes, 9 times out of 10, if you see a Rolex in the wild, it's a fake Rolex, not a real one. And that only damages and diminishes their brand. So the fact that blockchain can be used, the Cardano network in particular can be used to help solve this problem and innovate around it is super cool. And it's just a fun little application that we were able to get out. Things are working well on the testnet side. We're having a lot of fun with that. Jormungandr has gone through multiple releases last week. We were hoping to get out 0.7 over the weekend, but we've decided to add a little bit more to it. So probably tomorrow or the day after, and that's going to be a major update to the testnet. We're going to reset it. And that will give us the ability to begin broad-scale stress testing. So basically, we're going to start really ratcheting up the nodes. Right now, we're at like 50, 60 on a private testnet. And our hope is to take it to 1,000. And I told Sam Leathers, our DevOps engineer, the director of DevOps, take it to 11. So let's see if we can go ahead and go to 11,000 nodes and then go up and see if we can do over 100,000 nodes or something like that. It's going to be fun to break the network and see where our performance goes. So we're really getting it done. We've also begun end-to-end testing. So Daedalus combined with the Haskell wallet backend combined with the Jormungandr Rust node all together, all as one package. And this is Daedalus, the next edition. So that's the edition with the Shelley features. And we're finishing up the Shelley features in the Haskell wallet backend. And then, of course, Jormungandr is rapidly evolving thanks to all the QA. We have over 2,800 people now in the testnet channel. Every time I open it, there's like 1,000 messages in there. It's super exciting to be able to see how quickly people are installing, configuring. And I think we just hit our 1,000th issue on the Jormungandr repo. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Not to be outdone, the Haskell side's moving pretty quickly too. Cardano 1.7 is going to be deployed to mainnet likely by the end of this month. This was a major Daedalus upgrade. I think we have a message center in it. So we can push messages to Daedalus. There's some GUI fixes, some under the hood fixes. And then the very next thing we're going to do is deploy the rewritten node to the core nodes. And then we're going to turn on the OBFT hard fork. So look for that in November. And then we'll begin upgrading more and more pieces of infrastructure in December. And then we'll do an end-to-end upgrade. So likely the whole new rewritten Haskell Cardano will be pushed to the consumer in January. We'll also have a Haskell Shelley testnet, according to our most recent plans, likely in January as well. And then you can kind of see the delta between what Jormungandr is doing and the Haskell client is doing. So things are certainly moving in the right direction. The incentivized testnet's still on schedule for November. We'll go ahead and make an announcement sometime this week or next week about specifics for that, as well as the airdrop date of when we're going to do the snapshot and roll it over. We're still trying to decide whether it's better to do one snapshot or two snapshots, and I'll explain the differences between those two. One snapshot would just say, here's a date, go ahead, good luck. And if you don't do things right by that date, well, better luck next time. A two snapshot would be like a dry run where we say, okay, we're going to do a snapshot, let's say November 10th, for example, and then maybe we wait 2 weeks and then we do another snapshot. And for the first 2 weeks, that's kind of a trial run. So all that mining is not real, but it gives you a chance that you have access to your testnet ADA for staking, and you can actually do things. And if you can't, you have 2 weeks to remediate that problem or something like that. So we're having some internal conversations of whether a one snapshot or two snapshot idea is better. The second thing is we have begun discussions with exchanges about what they're going to do. And we are also looking at our restoration options for wallets. Like, can we restore a hardware wallet in the new Daedalus interface or Yoroi wallet and so forth? So all of that will be in the blog post when we post that. And we've got a lot of great feedback. The channel in Reddit for questions got over 200 questions, and we put out some surveys into the Stake Pool Task Force. We got hundreds of answers there. We got some things in the forum. So our community has been very verbose, and it's been quite a bit of fun to actually go through this whole process. So we're learning a lot along the way. We're also thinking about designing and deploying a stake pool dashboard. So if you deploy a stake pool, you'll have a GUI for that. We've gathered business requirements. We're building up a nice Explorer as well for the incentivized testnet. So things are rolling. We've released probably more software this month than we've released in a really long time, and we're not slowing down. We're speeding up, and quality is really good. And it's so cool to be able to do things the Haskell way, slow and methodical, but then do things the Rust way in a very Silicon Valley, agile, move fast and break things. It allows us to kind of see around corners and bring more people into the tent faster. So that's just fun. So thank you all for having a nice time and participating. It's been a hell of a ride, and we have a lot more to do. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get to your questions. Exciting times ahead. And by the way, this program is not just some MOU or pilot with New Balance. It's actually a real project. They pay us, and it's a real product in market that people are buying and using right now. It's just a question of how much can we scale that relationship, and our hope is to scale it up as much as possible. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Steve-O, I just missed you at the party. Yeah, I believe you're the person who reached out to me over Twitter who said you were in Los Angeles. I had just left because I had a dinner commitment, and I waited around a little bit and I couldn't find you. I was hoping to see you there. So better luck next time. Charles, what are your thoughts on Zcash Halo, and is it really a breakthrough, and do you plan to analyze it before the Basho phase? You mean this type of analysis? That contains detailed engineering notes on how to build it and different things that we'd have to do and how it's being used in products like Coda, and it was diagrams and everything? Oh no, I as a CEO never get stuff like that. Never, 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 ever. We are definitely following the latest and greatest state of the art. We're doing a lot of snark work under the hood. We have some cool ideas. We've implemented Sonic. We're looking at Marlin. We're looking at other things. And guys, 2020 is going to be the year of the snark for a lot of cryptocurrency projects. And it's extremely exciting to see how powerful this is and what it can do. Because basically what you're thinking about is you're saying, I have a Genesis block, the latest block, and the state of the system, like the UTXO or the account state. And that's it. And I have this weird proof thing. And then when I see stuff happening, I just can check it against this recursive proof, and I know it's right. And I never need more than that amount of information. So you got a petabyte scale blockchain, and you only need a few megabytes. That's cool. That's really cool. That's how we achieve real scalability. So there's certainly other ways you can achieve this with NEPA POWs or proof-of-stake side chains, but this is a complementary approach that does different theoretical things for you. And we're super excited to explore that. So I've actually asked Vitali and my other engineers, because he's crazy smart, he's got like 2 PhDs and got one in crazy Russia land, to really look into this. And he spent weeks and weeks thinking about Halo, and he spent months and months implementing Snark stuff for us. And we're going to certainly make an announcement at some point. But Halo is definitely a big breakthrough. All due credit to the Zcash team. Electric Coin Company did a great job there. And we're so excited to see recursive snarks work their way with untrusted setup into the cryptocurrency space. So attaboys, we're having fun, and we're just going to keep going out there. Hi, Charles. What's the status of the development of Africa? Anything new in the progress of John's work? Absolutely. We signed a pilot deal. We're doing the feasibility study. Feasibility study should be out probably towards the end of the year. We have a local partner that's helping us with the feasibility study. I had a meeting this morning about it. And then we may even be able to offset some of the cost of the pilot with funding from either World Bank or another grant organization. So we're going through the whole gamut. We're making some applications. And there's a good chance that we should be able to complete that currency pilot by June of 2020. My hope is a hybrid solution where we use Atala for the specific things within the city hosted by the relevant ministries. And then we actually implement a token on the Cardano network that actually represents the digitized Burr. So John will certainly go back on the Cardano effect when the time is right, and we'll have a great conversation. But that's a great product, because that's about 4 million users that we could bring into the Cardano network. So we have some great things to do. Okay, question from Michael Lesser. Are you blocking me on Twitter? I have some ideas for killer applications. Michael, no. I do like you, Michael. I think you're a great guy. The reality is that there are just so many things coming my way that I've decided to hire some commercial directors. So we have 2 people we brought on, Michael McDonald, the other one's named Jerry. And what we're going to do is when they're fully onboarded, I'll give you their email, and I'll do it through a Twitter DM. And then you can share your ideas with them, and they can give you the time of day. And more importantly, they're actionable. So if there's something interesting, they actually can work with you to get that done. Hi, Charles. Does New Balance Real Chain use ADA? Yes and no. So we're using colored ADA for the shoes. So you have to do a transaction on the system, which consumes a transaction fee. But it does not require, for example, ADA to be purchased to do an authentication event. That's all handled by the application. So later on, we'd re-implement this as a Plutus smart contract, and that it'd have that same metered model that Ethereum has. But we do use ADA kind of, sort of, but in a kind of hacky way, like color coins. Okay. Charles, you do great academic work. How do you, as a CEO, plan to make the product attractive for Wall Street, Silicon Valley investors to get massive tailwinds? So there has to be some market infrastructure set up, and there's certainly partners that the foundation's working with to build good infrastructure, from custodial solutions to market-making opportunities and so forth, and just increasing the exchange listing. And then eventually people will think, hey, it's a really good idea if we have a Bitcoin fund and an Ethereum fund to also build an ADA fund. And so where and when that makes sense, we certainly meet with interesting people, whether they be algos or waves or others, and have those conversations. On our side, it's technical. On the foundation side, it's more business. And our goal is to eventually build out that infrastructure in anticipation for the ecosystem scaling, because there's definitely going to be a need for that. We'd also love to build an investment banking product with Waves, where we potentially could build an on-blockchain fund for ADA. And so that would be really cool to explore, both on the technology side, but also on the regulatory side of, how to get that done. But we think about that a lot. NEPA POW, you follow the Nameek work? NEPA POW's our work. They took our work. Nameek is using things that IOHK developed back in 2016. Hello from Brazil. Obrigado. Okay, what else do we have here? Did you end up pulling the trigger on buying / supporting that soccer team in air? Yeah, I'm going to get the Jinja Hippos. It's just a question of how we're going to do that, what we're going to do. I was going to go to Uganda to seal that deal, but there was an Ebola outbreak, so I kind of said I'd come back a little later. But we'll get that done. And actually, I'd love to meet the king of Uganda, King Oyo. He's like 28 years old, and he's single. It's going to be a lot of fun to hang out with that guy. Yeah, he would like to hang out with you again, King. Anyway, we're going to do some cool stuff in Africa, and it'd be really cool to build some applications on Cardano specifically for a soccer team. I'd love to tokenize the players. I'd love to build a crypto soccer league throughout Africa, and also I'd like to encourage the other cryptocurrency businesses in our space to buy soccer teams, because then I can play them. I'd love to play the Consensus team and the IOHK team. And these teams really aren't that expensive. You usually can pick one up for $50,000, so that's a lot of fun. And it's a great way of bringing mainstream people into the cryptocurrency space, because they say, oh, I can tokenize the advertising of my team. I have like a next generation style baseball card, because I can now have tokens representing players as non-fungible assets. There's all kinds of cool things that can be done. And it'd be super cool to do that. Okay. Do you think Cardano could replace Bitcoin? Yes. Number one. We go for number one. Michael, one of the problems with the Cardano staking nodes right now is it is an alpha product. And what an alpha product means is it's going to blow up in your face more often than not. And it takes a lot of patience to get through that. But that's the point of alpha testing, is that it helps you get a lot of the bugs out more quickly. And then get to beta, where it doesn't blow up in your face as much. And then you get to a main, and that ideally never blows up in your face, or seldom blows up in your face. And for certain people that don't want to have to configure as many things, we've been working with channel partners, and our hope is to have available for sale as a reference some form of hardware stake pool that you can just buy for a few $100s, and everything comes batteries included. You run a few scripts and boom, you're off to staking and you're off to running the network. So we're definitely excited about that, and we'll make an announcement when we have that. After Shelley is released on main chain, what will be the next milestone? Hopefully in tandem with Shelley, but certainly not too far away. Our next goal is going to be Gogan, which is smart contracts. And we actually have a wonderful product manager, his name's Devoja, great lead technical architect there, Manuel Chakravarti and his team. We've just seen great things out of Plutus. And boy, we're real excited. Absolutely, absolutely more excited. Darko, what was more shitty to deal with, eye infection or the gout? By far the eye infection. I permanently lost some eyesight in my left eye because of it. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. And I was being treated every day by an ophthalmologist. I did everything in my power, and it's just viral eye infections are the worst. Gout, it's just super painful, but you get through the pain, Okay, what else we got here? So our goal with the staking hardware would be basically taking open source hardware, building some custom cases for it, and then pre-configuring all the scripts in a Linux distribution, and then basically you can buy it from a vendor as a reference and sell, and we'll have a wholesale and retail chain. But we'll make an announcement about that. Hello from Korea. I just missed the Korea trip. I was going to go, and unfortunately, I was a bit under the weather, and I missed my flight. And I really regret that. I was going to do an event with Icon and go to a conference, and we were really excited about that. Unfortunately, we just couldn't make it happen. So I will be back in Korea. And next time I'm back in Korea, because I missed, I'll bring some cool goodies with me, like T-shirts and maybe a few staking tools for people. Of course, the channel is uncensored. Everybody says we should have moderators. Like, say what you want to say. I'll just ignore you if you're a bad dude. Who cares? If people get so bent out of shape, everybody's got an opinion. And if a person wants to be a troll, we self-censor. We just don't read them. Don't take them seriously. Hello from Portugal. Good to meet you guys. When will Bitcoin and Ethereum support be added to Daedalus? That's a good question. So the way we've designed the wallet backend, it'd be super cool to get it working with Bitcoin, and then it would be pretty easy for us to just have a flag in the software, so you can just click a button and suddenly support Bitcoin. Bitcoin, unfortunately, just does not want to adopt modern technology to make it a significantly better user experience. That's why we're building Cardano. That's why I helped build Ethereum, because the Bitcoin guys don't like innovating. They just like keeping the status quo. But we certainly could get support there if we wanted to in short order. Ethereum support's a little bit more difficult, but we've done it once before. We did it with Mantis. That's a slightly different code base, though, so we have to think about it. And also, why would I want to support a product that's going to die? Cardano is going to replace it. Having a good day today. Hello from Uruguay. Yeah, actually, Uruguay is so beautiful. I've been to Montevideo and Catalonia. And hello from Ireland. Good to see you, Darren. You know, we might have over 40 Irish employees long term. It's crazy how many people we have in Ireland. And actually, our project management and some of our product management is done out of Ireland. It's a beautiful place. Anything new from your research team? A lot of good papers. We just proved that Bitcoin has some quantum resistance. You should look for that. A lot of structural papers. Kachina, private smart contracts. Woo, that's a good one. That's actually a really good one. That's going to be fun to build, too. We're really innovating. We had 18 submissions, I think, in October and September, and more on the way. More on the way. Hello from London. Hello from Australia. Any updates regarding your mountain climbing expedition in Antarctica? I really do want to climb Mount Terror. For you guys who don't know the story, basically we're going to train with Wim Hof, become immune to the cold, going to take paramotor lessons and really get good at flying a paramotor, especially with tandem. And then I'm going to go down with Jer Maroney, and I'm going to go down with Brian McKenna and Wim Hof, and we're going to go to Antarctica and climb Mount Terror. We'll have a helicopter go there before we climb the mountain and drop off 2 hours. We'll climb the mountain. It's a volcano, and then we'll find the paramotors somehow, and then fly off the mountain back down to base camp, and then open up a very old bottle of Macallan that I happen to have. So if we don't die, it'll be a really good story, and it'll be a lot of fun. So Brian is the most adventurous of all of us, and he's already begun the ice training. He's taking cold showers every day, jumping probably naked into the Irish waters. He's having some fun, man. He's got that Celtic blood, and like Gaelic Celtic blood, paint yourself blue, kill people blood. He's like a picked warrior or something like that. So he's an inspiration to us all. Jer, on the other hand, he's not quite there yet, nor am I, and so we have to catch up with Brian. But we'll certainly tweet that. Hello from Sophia. I was just there not too long ago. Run a note in Antarctica while you're there. Rick, only you would tell me to do that, and we will find a way to make that happen. We'll coordinate with you somehow. We'll do an interview, the Cardano effect. By the way, when we climb Mount Terror, we have to do it shirtless because we're with the Iceman. So I might actually do it in like America-themed underwear or something like that. Yeah, just think about that. No other founder does that. I don't see Vitalik climbing Mount Terror with a Canadian flag on. No nationalism these days. Okay. Yes, Wim Hof is definitely Dutch. I once ran into him buying waffles. He said he's the Iceman. Don't die, ship Ada before. Yeah, we'll get Gogan and Shelly out before, and don't worry, we'll have a good product manager on top of the rest. Crazy amount of news coming out of Cardano. Well, yeah, we kind of been working, guys. We've been doing stuff, like lots of work. It's funny, you wake up every day, all these people work so incredibly hard, and then people get surprised that you actually been doing real work. They say, wow, we thought you were all just hanging out. We're not in Silicon Valley for a reason. We don't like going to the parties. We actually like doing real work. You have to actually work out here in Colorado, let me tell you. Yeah, I am on fire. Must be that hot sauce. All right, come on, guys. Give me some good questions. Any plans to visit Brazil? Absolutely. My director of engineering is from Brazil, Bruno Pelio. Bruno's a great guy, and I'd love to go with him. We also have Mario Laranjeira, one of our researchers at Tokyo Tech. He's from Brazil. And we have a lot of great Brazilians who have helped make Cardano great. And it's near and dear to our heart. We have a huge development team actually in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. And so they're just in the neighborhood. And so it'd be super cool to go do a South American trip, go to Montevideo, go to Buenos Aires, go to Santiago, and then finally come up to Sao Paulo. It'd be fun, guys. Coinbase, yeah, we're doing that. We're doing that. Don't worry about it. It'll get done. What about Indonesia? Murgo is there. Used to live in Jakarta. Love that place. And yes, Silicon Valley is absolutely a cesspool. Do not go there. $3,000 for a one-bedroom apartment. Come on now. $10 coffee. Get my coffee at Cave Girl just across the street. Very nice. Everybody loves Cave Girl coffee. All right, let's see here. Charles, should we be worried that some focus will be pointed towards Atala instead of Cardano? Can you elaborate why New Balance uses the Real Chain logo instead of Cardano? They use the Real Chain logo because they're New Balance, and they have every right to brand their own products accordingly. Who cares what the backend uses as long as the backend's our backend? As for Atala, guys, there are certain products and projects that make more sense with permission ledgers than they do with permissionless ledgers. So what's nice about Atala is it's guaranteed if we deploy Atala that when they want to use a permissionless system, it's going to work with Cardano, not Ethereum or Bitcoin or these other systems. It uses our stuff. So it's a way indirectly to drive large-scale adoption to Cardano for things that make sense on Cardano. For example, if I tokenize a national currency, I'm probably going to put that on the Cardano network. And then the interface to get into it will probably come through maybe Atala, and it'll exist as a sidechain or something like that. So there's a lot of interplay between these two systems, and we're very curious about how these hybrid systems are going to work. And yeah, I am very relaxed, having a good day. It's a great day. Okay. When debit card. The debit card is part of the Cardano Foundation's work. We hope they announce something at some point. That was an old Michael Parsons project that he announced before he actually had a way of delivering. And it is what it is. So would you love to have a chat with Andreas Antonopoulos? I know him very well. We've had our ups, we've had our downs. I've had many chats with Andreas. I've even been on his podcast a few times. He's a good guy. Is that a green screen? Yes, I am in an undisclosed location in a secret bunker. Love you too, GA. Can I learn to code? I can't code, and I'm almost 40 years old. Oh no. Yes, of course you can learn to code. If you're really curious, probably a good book is Graham Hutton's Programming in Haskell. I have it on my desk. Actually, one of our secretaries bought it, and she's trying to learn Haskell herself. That's a good starting book to learn Haskell, but it's not the best book to start with programming. Probably Think Like a Computer Scientist from Alan Downey is a pretty good book. It's on Python. There's also a great specialization, Code for Everybody on Coursera. It's in Python. It's a really good place to actually just get your feet wet, get started, learn about programming. And then after you've completed all that, which will take a few months, there's also several websites like Code Academy and others that have exercises and tutorials. Then you can begin to transition into the functional world. I'd start with Python because the pedagogy for Python is so well developed. And there's just tons of learning resources. And you can get used to going to Stack Exchange and get used to using the command line and these types of things. And you can fail fast and fail often, and that'll help you along the way. Then, buy Graham Hutton's book or the Haskell book. You can go to the website and you can learn all about Haskell. And once you've done that, take the Plutus course on Udemy, and you are ready to go to do dangerous things. When the Singapore penthouse and Asian mistress, Charles Hoskins. I am not, what's his name, Rogers from Quantum. He's a great guy. No, I live in Colorado. Love Colorado. Although, do you intermittent fast? Yes, 16-8. 16 no eat, 8 eat. Although I've been a very bad boy lately. I haven't kept it. How's Mongolia going? We're going to do a class. After the class is done, we're going to build it up. And then we're going to use those people to go ahead and do a pilot in the country. It'll be a little bit behind Georgia and Ethiopia, but it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. And we're definitely going to do a Joe Rogan podcast. We'll figure it out for next year after we have a little bit more infrastructure, because I want to be able to bring millions of people into a more complete product with lots more to do. And Andreas will never join the Cardano team. He's a Bitcoin guy. He's going to be on that team. My new chair is very red. That is very astute of you. That is nice and red. We all like red. Are you being held against your will? Yes. Yes, I am. By the plague doctor. See? We have a nice little plague doctor. He captures people. That's true once we're a top 3. Bum, bum. Charles, a lot of FUD is spreading saying you will leave Cardano once IOHK contract is finished. This is not true, right? Well, here's what we're going to do. Once we finish that contract, meaning we've shipped Shelley, Gauguin, Basho, Voltaire. So we have a CIP process, a treasury system, and we have an ability to submit a ballot for additional funding. We're going to do 2 things. First, we're going to write the mother of all closing reports, and we're going to tell you what we did. As I say, we follow the Paul Halmos way of development here at IOHK. Old mathematician, I'm a mathematician. We love that man. And he said, tell him what you're going to do it, tell him what you did. So that's the last thing. Is we're going to write a big closing report. So here are all the papers we wrote and how the product evolved and the code we wrote and the things we learned. 5 years, this is how we spent those 5 years and what we accomplished. Then we're going to say, this is the next 5 years. This is what we'd like to do. This is where we'd like to go. Huzzah. Okay. We're going to write all that up, and then we're going to submit it as a funding ballot to the community. We'll say, we need this much money to do these 5 years. And here's what's going to happen. Rick and Philippe and all these other guys are going to read that along with everyone else in the community, even that Nostradamus guy that never seems to go away. And they're going to have critiques. And they're going to say, well, we like this, but not this, and this, and this, and this. And thus begins the negotiation. And we're negotiating the art of the deal. We're going to negotiate. And if we come to terms, IOHK will say, okay. And we'll take the deal. And we'll go and then spend another 5 years making ADA greater than it's ever been. And you know what else is going to happen? Inspire, because people say, wow, I can make lots of money too. Competitors. And these competitors are going to come in and say, we can do that, but for less. Or we want to take it in this direction. And guess what? The community is going to have a big discussion and a big debate about it. And maybe we win, maybe someone else wins. Who knows? But here's the beautiful part is you're in charge. You get to decide that, the ADA holders. And that's how decentralization works. That's how you avoid cults of personality. You know, you say, yes, you won the Super Bowl last year, but what you doing for me this year? Yes, you've done great things in the past, but what are you going to do for us in the future? Because this is ultimately our protocol, and we're making decisions for ourselves and our children who will be using this protocol. And we'll make the pitch. And if we don't win the pitch, well, that's for good reason. Either because it wasn't a good enough pitch or somebody else won who's better suited. And what does that mean? It means that Cardano is always going to be in good hands. And it's going to have, over time, more and more accountability, better and better software developers involved, more diverse software developers involved. So that's how we're doing this, and only you can win. And multiple companies absolutely could win, could chop it up, divide and conquer, could have 50 companies working on it. Depends on the market cap. So how are the Canadian elections going? We ever going to get rid of Trudeau one of these days? Ugh. Guy is something else. How long before people can use Cardano without having to understand all this computer lingo? Well, Olive Cracker, I was in Los Angeles And I saw the sneakerheads using Cardano without knowing they were using Cardano or they're using a cryptocurrency. They opened up a sneaker box and there's a card there. They took their cell phone, went tap, and suddenly it just worked. And there was no cryptocurrency, no wallet, none of this stuff. You know, we call that a consumer product. And we have one in a real distribution with real shoes behind it. And that's the magic. And that's what we're doing. And there's going to be 1,000 of those one day. The magical thing is when you're using something and you don't even know you're using it. That's how you know you won. Mm-hmm. Any comment on the state of the U.S. economy? You mean the fact that the Federal Reserve is just printing money like a drunken sailor? Yeah, not so good. There's certainly good foundational things that we have. For example, we're a world leader in quantum computation. We're a world leader in AI. We're a world leader in data analytics. We're a world leader in nanotechnology. We're the world leader in biotechnology. We're a world leader in energy, especially alternative energy research as well as fusion. We're a world leader in material sciences. We're a world leader in innovation. So as long as that's the case, America's best days are ahead of it because we own the future. We get to decide the future. Elon Musk, he's putting implants into people's brains that allow us to connect to computers. Look at battery-powered cars. China's trying to get into this market. They can't even make jet turbines. And yet they're going to dominate that marketplace? No. America is a very strong country, and we have a great economy, a very diverse economy, and we have the best entrepreneurs and the best incentives still for entrepreneurs. Now, if we do something crazy and elect somebody who puts in a wealth tax and a 70% tax on the rich and nationalizes half the U.S. economy, we won't have any of that. It'll all leave. It'll go to Europe. It'll go to Asia. It'll go to smarter nations with better governance, just like what happened to Venezuela when they put a socialist, semi-communist government in and Chavez destroyed everything and his successors. So it's always a generational battle of capitalism versus socialism, of free markets versus controlled markets. But at the moment, we are still the best place to start a business. And the state of our economy is fundamentally strong. It might be different next year, might be different in 10 years. But right now, if you have to bet on any country, bet on America. And of course, I'm biased because I'm American. I got my boots on. After seeing what people say about you, I understand why Satoshi stayed anonymous. You got it. And anyone who claims they're Satoshi is not Satoshi. Just that simple. Hey, Charles, you should bring Craig Wright to work on Cardano. Well, don't worry, guys. Once we get successful enough, he'll say he invented it. He's the real Charles Hoskinson. Charles, do you still think ADA will still be the first coin with $1 trillion market cap? I sure hope so, because it means it's an economy unto itself. The only way you get there is not by speculation. You get there by use and utility. $1 trillion ADA would mean we literally have millions, if not tens or hundreds of millions of users and tens of thousands of very viral applications and massive markets. And that would be its own economy. And that's what my point was. When I said that, I said, I really hope that happens. And who the fuck is Charles Hoskinson? Love you too. Charles, is Cardano still working with Zen and distributed futures? I certainly hope not. When are you coming to Sweden? I am going to Sweden actually sometime soon. I'll let you guys know about it. So I'm a big fan of skydiving. I've done a lot of skydiving in my life, but I've never done a wingsuit. And there's an air tunnel in Sweden that I can use to train on a wingsuit. So you just get in and have your wingsuit and you're kind of flying, just hovering in the air. So I have one of our Cardano engineers, Roman, he works on the Plutus project as a wingsuit guy. We're going to go together, and we're going to have some fun learning how to fly a wingsuit, basically, in an air tunnel in Sweden. So when I do that, we'll probably also do a Cardano meetup group, because I always try to do Cardano stuff, even if it's personal travel, and that'll be a lot of fun. And actually, there's a lot of innovation in wingsuit technology. In fact, you can even not lose altitude. You can just fly horizontally with kerosene jets. So that's pretty cool. And no, wingsuits are not by themselves very dangerous, Jason. That's a misconception. They're dangerous because people use them for dangerous things. If you're just jumping out of an airplane, flying in a wingsuit, and then you open your chute and land like skydiving, it's actually less dangerous than skydiving. It's significantly more dangerous when you base jump. For example, you jump off a mountain into a forest or something like that, or you do a lot of these things people do, like trying to do these lands without a parachute or something like that. Please tell us more about quantum computing and resistance and whether it's a threat to cryptocurrencies or not. Well, Mr. Nobody, let's talk about that. So quantum computers are the cryptocurrency cryptography boogeyman. So basically, it's just a different way of doing computation that turns out there are special algorithms for it that take hard problems that normal computers consider to be hard, and they have a shortcut to solve those problems so that they can be solved quickly. Something that could take more years than the time in the universe could now be reduced to something that's in the seconds, minutes, or hours. Now, the devil's in the details. First off, not all hard problems can be solved with quantum computers. Only certain hard problems at the moment. And those hard problems are, unfortunately, problems that secure a lot of crypto, like Diffie-Hellman and things like elliptic curve crypto and so forth. So the good news is that there's a humongous international effort to create post-quantum algorithms. Things like learning with error, supersingular isogenies, things like hash-based crypto, things like lattice-based crypto. And there are many great approaches like XMSS and Sphinx on the hash-based crypto side. And if you look at lattice-based, there's a great framework called Crystals that was created for IBM. And all of these things are being submitted to a big NIST competition. And that NIST competition is going to eventually decide which one of those schemes is going to become America's official crypto for the Department of Commerce, i.e., it's what our intelligence agencies will use to actually secure its communication. So that's got to be good. And they tend to use open source cipher suites, at least for the suite B. So we're tracking that. We're also doing a lot of foundational research about what a quantum adversary is. And as we learn more about that, eventually we will redesign the Ouroboros protocol to be quantum resistant. And we will also redesign our other cryptographic primitives to be quantum resistant as well. So we'll look at snarks from a quantum viewpoint, and we'll look at signatures and so forth. And it's very easy for us to gradually roll these into Cardano. So it's not something this decade or next decade we're going to have to worry about, but it is something probably in the 2030s and 2040s, which will become evident. It'll take about 2 or 3 years of hard research, I'd say, to redo our protocol suite to be quantum resistant, at least with a good trade-off profile. And we may lose a few things, but because the crypto is more sophisticated, like lattice-based crypto, we may actually gain some really cool new things from that. So this is something graduate students and postdocs are basically starting careers on. And over the next 10 years, they're going to define themselves this way and publish lots of great papers. And those papers will very rapidly work their way into industry. And everyone, your military, your intelligence agency, your business, has a big incentive to be able to move to post-quantum crypto. So by the time it's a threat, we'll already have a solution, and Cardano will be secure. Cardano Cash CV. We actually do have a new name, technically. It's Input Output Global. Just everybody knows us as IOHK. We'll just change HK to Hugs and Kisses. Charles, Charles, Charles. White, white, white. Does your risky base jumping behavior put Cardano at risk? Somebody's going to write an article about it. Apparently, I'm in hell. because of a painting in my office. A soul in hell. A soul in hell. No. I have a great life, guys. You know, I don't even think about Ethereum these days. I really don't. I didn't even watch anything out of DEF CON. I just get technical reports about what they're doing, but I don't care about Vitalik or Ethereum. It's a lion doesn't concern himself with the opinion of sheep. Charles, have you managed to solve the Riemann zeta function? No one solves the Riemann zeta function. It's a function. You're thinking about the Riemann hypothesis. And the answer is no, because I never worked on that problem. I did additive number theory. I thought about Goldbach and things like that, and Collat's conjecture and so forth. Much more interesting. I tell you, fuck you, Charles. You are a fucking mistake. Yep. Bet you cry every night that my dad didn't wear a condom. Every night. And I smile when I wake up, just thinking that you're crying. Okay. What else we got here? Mm-hmm. Who cares about me? My mother does. She's a nice gal. Come on, guys, give me some good questions. How do you feel about the Horizon project? We're still working with them. They're doing some consulting work, and we're helping them out. They're great people. I love Rob and the rest of the team. You know, that's how cryptocurrency should be. You decide where you want to innovate. You go and do it. You build a community. Might be small, might be large, but they have some great people, and they have some great connections. And we love working with them, and they're very ethical people. They're very easy to work with. Have I read Gödel Escher Bach? Absolutely. Great book. Strange Loop was good too. I'm a little bit more preferential to Rudy Rucker's work, however. And I actually invited Rudy to my conference, and that was a lot of fun. I see Plutus is on Amazon Kindle. Plutus is on Amazon Kindle. Yes, it is. Hey, Charles, do you ever think you'll get called to testify before Congress? You know, that would be a lot of fun if Mark Zuckerberg was there too, because he'd be sipping his water, and I'll be like, Mark, let me show you how to do this. I'll take his pillow out from underneath them too. Although he's coated in honey and he's running right now. You guys still haven't made me a t-shirt for the Run Honey Man Run. Come on, I'm disappointed in you. This is like near and dear to my heart, the naked Mark Zuckerberg with the bear cub coated in honey running away from the mother that is the US dollar. You notice that everybody's abandoning him as predicted. Well, CryptoLite, I also went all in on Cardano. I can assure you, I've lost more money than anyone else. When meeting with Trump, I don't want to meet Trump. Come on, guys. How many pools do you want us to reach on the Shelley testnet? Do we need to hit like 500 or 800 while on testnet? That's a good question, Rick. You know, it depends on what we set the K parameter for. I'd like to at least see 100 stable and then get a lot of great feedback from them and just really focus hardcore on the user experience and push that as far as we can. It's trivial to increase that K parameter to 1,000 or something like that. But I'm just really interested in the competition. And that's the point of doing the incentivized testnet, is it teaches us a lot. So we have those trading wheels before we actually launch the system. So I hope that we get there. why is the real chain chip in a card instead of directly in the chute? Because the card is a tangent card. It's all interconnected. See how that partnership worked? But actually, we'd love to build a chip. That'd be a lot of fun. Charles, what's the best concert you've ever been to? Oh, that was easily when Journey opened for Aerosmith. That was just awesome. Everything was awesome about that. I really loved that concert. Although we did actually talk to the Pink Floyd about getting back together for the IWHK Summit. They almost did. We almost got that to happen, and we would have had an amazing time there. So, assuming that that we can't get Pink Floyd back, I think the Journey Aerosmith was a great concert. Excuse me. Serious. He was listening to Silvio Macaulay, and he said Algorand could solve ZK snark within one block without HTLC. Okay. Good for Silvio. You know, he kind of invented that whole field of crypto. He's a badass. You know what I love about him? You ever talk to Silvio? You're like, hey, Silvio, what do you think about this? And what's this problem you're working on here? He's like, we'll figure it out. And you're like, God damn it, it's Silvio Macaulay. Of course he's going to figure it out. He's a fucking genius. I love him. He's a legend, and he's got a great team of people. We got the utmost respect for Algorand and their team. And you know, he's not only a great academic, he's got a good sense of humor, and he's just a thoroughly good human being. And he's still ambitious, and it's amazing because he's like getting to the twilight of his career. There's like he's won. You know, if academia is a video game, he won like 6 times. He's got the Nobel Prize of Computer Science. He's a tenured professor at MIT. He's trained an entire generation of probably 2 generations of cryptographers. There's really nothing more to accomplish there. And yet somehow Silvio wakes up every day and he's like, let's go fight. Let's go get it done. And he's really good at working with people, and he doesn't get frustrated. He always keeps that cool, that Italian cool. So he's a great guy, and we'd love working with him if we ever could. How much have you lost? Millions? Billions. Billions. Yeah. What's your favorite Irish whiskey? Jameson 18. Wonderful whiskey, comes in a beautiful wooden box, goes down smooth. What do you think of Nick Bostrom's simulation theory? If you didn't live in the US, where would you live? Switzerland. Charles, so you think porn could be implemented onto Cardano? It's a big industry. Well, I don't want to sound cocky, but I do think somebody at some point will get that done. We should definitely petition for somebody in the community to go to AVN and really push for it. Do you like stand-up comedy? Dave Chappelle. Whiskey is non-kosher. I'm not Jewish. Charles, you still eating red meat? Yes. Absolutely. Dry age that shit. Why Switzerland? Because they love decentralization. Beautiful place. They build watches. Chocolate's good. You can get anywhere in Europe from there super easily, and they respect your privacy. Are you satisfied with the actual level of performance of the testnet? We're getting there. You will eat the bugs, Charles. I already do. Scorpions are the preferred ones, although silkworms are pretty good too. Wait, what about AVN? I got you there, didn't I? Yeah. Charles, will Cardano be working with the state of Wyoming? We are definitely going to work with the University of Wyoming. In fact, we're putting together something really special there. We'll announce it later. IOHK or IOYO? Why not both? Charles Oskinson, what are your thoughts on cannabis legalization? I've always been a supporter. Always. Let people do what they want with their own bodies. Crazy, crazy government. They don't own me. I can do what I want. Just hold me accountable for the things I do to others. Have you ever been to Gettysburg? Yes. Rapid fire questions. Really good show. Hi, Charles. I don't know if someone told you this, but you look like the father in Dave and Ava's Kids channel. You guys found out my alter ego. Acting. Acting. Heineken? No. No. How about the book Moonwalking with Einstein? Read it after you mentioned it. Ocean, what'd you think? Do you remember it? Charles, what's your favorite dApp being developed on Cardano? Can't announce it yet, but boy, is it special. It involves authentication and anti-counterfeiting. I'm really, really fired up about it. What are your thoughts on John McAfee? John McAfee is a force of nature. He's his own man, and he's going to do his own thing, and he's just fucking amazing to watch. Alex Jones is amazing to watch. John McAfee is amazing to watch, and there are just some people in life you meet, and you're basically on a great experience. That's all I'm going to say about John. Charles, what's your main goal / purpose of this AMA? The AMAs have two goals. One, in the beginning, I talk about where are we at, what are we doing? And that's a few minutes, maybe 10 or 20. Then you guys ask me questions. And if you're lucky enough to stumble on a surprise AMA, well, then you have a chance to ask me a question. And it can be anything. It can be a personal question, a commercial question, a life advice, doesn't matter. And we answer them all because it's important to face your community. It's important for people to see that. That's why all these questions you ask are actually publicly available along with the comments. And sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. Do I believe Bob Lazar? Is he the UFO guy that claims he worked at Area 51 and did weird stuff with gravity and things like that? Sounds like Cardano's creating a digital identity system, IOHK is. Charles, shaken or stirred? Neither. What is your proposal to Ethereum Classic? Oh, it's a good one. It's a very good one. And we're going to talk about that next year after Cardano, after Shelley and Gogan. What's the paperwork and the pen on the side table under the window? Magic. You guys can speculate on that. Guinness Drought or Stout? Stout. Come on now. Don't waste my time. Cardano, Charles, you do so much science. Why Cardano so low on CoinMarketCap? So low. Is it? We're higher than like 3,000 other tokens. Guys, we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of things to build. The markets have been battered and molested. It's a horrible time right now in the cryptocurrency space. But you know what? 5 years from now, everything's going to be a lot better for everybody. And the cryptocurrencies are here to stay because the young people want them to stay. The young people are the people who will have all the money in about 20 years. And if you're under the age of 25, you're significantly more likely to buy a cryptocurrency than you are a stock or a bond. And that's a trend that will not reverse itself. And I feel real good about our prospects because we got it all figured out. Who's your best competitor? Algorand. The ones I have most fun with. And if they won, I wouldn't mind. Who's your favorite rapper? Oh, that's a good one. Rick Ross. Purple Lamborghini. Purple Lamborghini. Oh, Rose. What's the story of your ring? It's over 100 years old. It's my pimpin' hand. Are you working closely with regulators? We have conversations with them all the time. Hydra is coming along quite well, making a lot of progress. And yes, I've talked to Crypto Crow all the time. He messages me on Telegram, complains that I don't reply back fast enough, and I am sorry about that, Crypto Crow. He's a good guy, and I love going on his show, and I was going to go to his event, but unfortunately collides with a big event I committed to in Spain, and I'm keynoting with like 10,000 people or something like that. So it's unfortunately a collision I hate having. And it's on my birthday too, and I'm kind of sad. I have not watched Joker yet. Really do want to watch it though. Big Joaquin Phoenix upgrade. Big Joaquin Phoenix fan. Thoughts on death metal? Not particularly. Charles, how come you're not even active on LinkedIn? I don't even have a complete profile. I just put something up for people to message me. I hate LinkedIn. It's a terrible social network. Lil Wayne. Hey! Gotta love Lil Wayne. That's great. Did I listen to the new Tool album? No. I don't listen to Tool. Although I am a Nine Inch Nails fan. Yeah, LinkedIn is the worst. See, this guy gets it. Yeah, there you go. And is everybody ready for the next season of Rick and Morty? You guys all excited about that? Guys excited? No, and no one excited? All right, yeah, screw you people. Let's see here. What else we got going on? Charles, how can I appear more manly if I can't grow a beard like you? You're on your own there. Although Leonardo DiCaprio made it work. Absolutely made it work. I actually knew a model that slept with him. He is a weird man. Have you met Craig Wright? Yes, I have. Most distasteful man I've met in the entire industry. Met him in Rwanda. 2 minutes into his speech, walked out. Just walked out. Don't listen to that. Any thoughts on Starkware and their scalability approach? Starkware is one of the great companies in our space, and they have some beautiful ideas. And Eli Van Sassen is a genius. He's a brilliant man, and they have a great team. They also have good investors, Intel Ventures and Kleiner Perkins and so forth. So I wish him well, and we're certainly going to compete with them. And I hope somebody wins because this technology is going to make everything better. Have you met Obama? No, just George W. Bush and Bill Clinton. Met Bush twice. President Bush, former President Bush. Art Bush is a lot nicer. He's super chill dude. Comments on your eye color. He knows the exact color, not just a shade of something. He knows the exact color. He's Art Bush. Charles, have you ever climbed or hiked any mountains in your state? A lot of 14ers. Do you like soccer? I own a soccer team, guys. Come on now. The Ginger Hippos. Hippo. All right, almost done. Let me get one more question. Bush was hitting on you, bro. He's an evil doer. Okay. What else we got here? Come on, guys. Do you play an instrument? Used to play the piano. I might buy that like flute that Picard had in The Last Light or whatever it was, and I'll just wear it as a necklace. I can just play it. Or maybe David from Alien Covenant, Prometheus. Tulsi versus Clinton. You know, Tulsi's a war hero. I disagree with a lot of her politics, but I have a tremendous amount of respect for her integrity and character. And I think she's exactly what an elected representative should be. Independent, free-minded, representing their constituency and not afraid to speak her mind. And Hillary Clinton is everything that is wrong with politics, all bundled into a single person. If the Democratic Party wants to go ahead and say that every time someone has a disagreement with the party line and warmongering that they're an asset of another country, in particular, a person who's a combat medic who saw combat and dragged bodies out who'd been shot at in very dangerous circumstances, is an asset of Russia, is a disgusting and despicable thing. And just, I guess Trump was right when he said nasty woman. And I'm very glad that she's going to be resigned to the ash heap of history of an also-ran, where she deserves to be. And no, it does not mean I'm currently a Trump fan. I just sometimes agree with one person, sometimes I agree with another person. I have very unique politics. But I really, really cannot stand Hillary Clinton. Nor can I really stand Donald Trump. What does the name Cardano mean? It's named after Girolamo Cardano, Italian polymath. Boom goes to dynamite, Charles. Grandfather used to dynamite fish. What do you think of Andrew Yang, the Yang Gang, the most honest of all the Democrats right now? If you vote for me, I'll give you free money. I was like, cut out the middleman. Come on now. Just everybody gets a check. It's like the Oprah Winfrey of candidates. And you get UBI and you get UBI. Oh my God, Rome is burning. Charles, are you a basketball fan? Do you watch the Nuggets? A good question there, Levon. I was a huge George Karl fan, and I thought he did an amazing job leading the Nuggets. He was coach of the year, and then the Nuggets fired him, and they never tasted the sweetness of the playoffs again. The Nuggets are a frustrating team because they were just so much fun to watch in the regular season, and they never really had the depth to get into the championship. But it was still fun to watch them. It was fun to watch those games. I used to watch those games with my dad, and it was a way to really bond with my dad before he moved to Wyoming. And I thought the Nuggets were just so much fun. And I was really sad that they fired George Karl in the way that they did. And then after they fired him, I just lost interest in the team. And actually, it was kind of the same with football. After Peyton Manning left the Broncos, I just stopped watching Broncos games. And yeah, used to fly fish back in the day. All right, kids, this has been a lot of fun from warm, sunny Colorado. Until next time, Hoskinson out.